went into the vehicle and we drove off. But when we came to the mountainside on the other side of the big lake, and we always stopped there, and we looked down to the valley again, and we were three of us holding hands. My uncle said, "You know, son, that is what you were born to do." So I looked at him. I don't know if I smiled or I just don't remember. But I just looked at him. He smiled and said, "That is what you were born to do." So that's how I learned that I was born to do what I do now.
Wow.
So, and here it is. It's becoming now. The time of talking about it ended. Now the act itself will happen. There are many sacrifices which are going to be burning on the days of the 17th to the 20th of July around the world, celebrating the coming home of a sacred fire. Hundreds of sacred ashes have been sent to us now for many, many sacred fires around the globe, where it's going to be the foundation of the fire pit, all these ashes. And then the grandmothers will go and they will cut trees for the first time in 20,000 years.
Wow.
And they will come back, they will prepare the fire pit, then the circle will be created, then the oldest man of my people, the Eskimos of Greenland, Kalaallit, he will come in with the already lit seal oil lamp, and he will go around the big circle and give every one of us who stand in the circle a chance to do whatever it is that we have to do. I know for certain that myself, when that seal oil lamp comes to my side, I know I will say thank you to my ancestors, because the fire pit is half a kilometer away from the village where my grandmother grew up in 1800s.
Wow.
In the 1890s. So I know what I would say thank you to my ancestors. I don't know whatever else other people would do. Then that oldest grandfather there, he will come to the north side of the Eastern Dome, where the oldest grandmother of the Kalaallit people, the Eskimos of Greenland, stands. Then he will hand it to her, and she will do whatever she has to do. None of us will ever know until the day. But at the end, after what she has done, she will come to the center, and she will pour the burning seal oil over the woods they have cut earlier. And for the first time then, in 20,000 years, a fire will be born out of Mother Earth. I know it does not make sense for people who have grown up with trees, but those people on the top of the world, they did not. And thus they don't have the sacred fire. But now, in exactly a month today, they will have it for the first time in thousands and thousands and thousands of years. You know how it is, George. You know, many of us in history have heard about stories of prophecies.
Mm-hmm.
And many of us did that. But very few of us have ever lived that story of really seeing, being near physically, of the fulfillment of a prophecy. We know that it was prophesied that Abraham will come. We know that Moses was promised to us. We know that he told us about Zoroaster. We know that after Zoroaster came Krishna, and he told about the coming of Buddha. We know that it was promised that Christ will come. We know that he told us about Muhammad. And without a doubt, we know they told us about Bob the gate will arrive. And we know definitely that it was promised that the glory of God, Baha'u'llah, will come. So in those big religions, we know the prophecies, but most of us never saw it, and most of us never believed it. I think of Christ. It took us 300 years to accept him.
Yeah.
You know, because we were fighting that. So we have been told prophecies, but none of us really believed. When time came, it's just a story. So now, one more time, just one more time, you and I are being given an opportunity to be part of, physically present, watching a fire being born out of Mother Earth for the first time in thousands upon thousands of years.
Wow. You already blew my next question, which was why the significance of the fire, and you've gone ahead and told me that now.
Oh. Anyways, it's just that I get a bit excited. So.
This is, the one thing that I was wondering, was there a point in time when your people first realized that there was a problem with the ice?
Oh, one thing the elders back home will tell you, that Earth has never stayed the same. She always changes. But the changes we have learned come exactly when we need them. The weather will change. We know exactly how the weather is going to be, because that's how it works. But Earth never stayed the same. But then they say that one day, all that will change. That big ice will go away. There are many stories in the world of how people have seen it. Many stories. It just really never ends. In 1963, two young men went hunting. And just like their ancestors have done so many times, that no one knows how many times, they go to the big ice. The big ice in Greenland has many fingers, many. And you go there and you touch upon this big ice because it's so incredibly large. So you put down some medicine in recognition of the Creator's skills. It's so big. So in the gratitude, you go and touch the big ice. As they did, one of them looks up and see water come trickling out. Now, our people are not scientists, but in science we know that it would take about -1 that the water will begin to freeze. So when it's been -30 or more for 3 months, everything should be solidly frozen. But it was not. The water was coming out of the big mountain of ice. So when they went home, they told people and the elders, there's a phenomenon going on there. Water was coming out of the big ice. At which point, the story says that the elders said, patting on the shoulders of these young men. Yeah, I understand. I think they were thinking that these young men had been drinking beer at the American Air Base. And then they went themselves hunting. And when they did, they came to the big wall. And they looked. And lo and behold, the water was trickling out of the big ice. That's 1963. That's a long time ago now.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of the physical science of climate change. 15 years later, 1978, in August, I spoke about that big ice melting at United Nations. I do remember getting a standing ovation And I was deemed to be a well-spoken young Eskimo, but that was it.
Nobody listened.
Nobody listened. And it's really fascinating that then in year 2000, I was invited by UN to be one of the spiritual elders. So I went as spiritual elder. And when I did, I spoke again about the melting of the ice. And it is funny how it's been doing. You know, everybody knows that the ice is melting, but everyone arguing about if it's right or wrong, if it's true or not. While we're doing it, the ice been melting, and the ice is truly melting. But we humans are funny people, so we just look upon that ice melting, and we didn't take it seriously. This is the message the elders are bringing to the world at this gathering in a month. The spiritual significance of the melting of the big ice. I'm one of those people who want to give the world a message of hope. I think we all need some kind of hope. This is what they say. The human cost of what you and I we have done is enormous. The low-lying areas of the world will be underwater, and the melting of the ice can no longer be stopped. That means that as the ice of Greenland melts, the waters will rise approximately 5 to 7 meters, 20 feet, just from that ice alone.
Wow.
Spiritual significance of the melting of the big ice is enormous. I am an Eskimo from Greenland who belongs to Denmark. When I go to Denmark, I would never dare to tell the mayor of Copenhagen that the capital of my country, or the Federation of the Kingdom, would be underwater, because he would not know what to do with the 1.5 million people. Tomorrow I'm going to be in London, England, on my way to the Himalayas. I wouldn't dare telling the mayor of London that his city will be underwater very shortly, because he would not know what to do with the 8 million people who live there. I was just in Germany recently, a few weeks ago, in Bremerhaven, and I met with the Foreign Affairs Minister. I did not have the heart to tell him that the city in which him and I were meeting is going to be underwater, and 20 million Germans will not have homes because they're all under the water level. I told him, don't tell the Chancellor of Germany. She will now have no clue, no capacity to deal with that issue. The list goes on over and over and over. I go to Florida, and I don't have the heart to tell the governor of Florida that most of that land will be underwater. But Seminoles knows it, though. They are well aware that their land will be underwater. That's part of their story. Amazonia, it was fascinating. I was in Sao Paulo, and 2 elders come from Amazonia, and they said that our land is sinking. I said, oh, tell me. The water is coming from north. And when she comes, our land will be underwater. Wow, that's 25% of Brazil that will be underwater. And the elders on the top of the world says, there's nothing you and I can do anymore.